brush knee. So essentially, everybody's going to learn it the way that I think would be the best. What we do on one side, we do on the other side. So you can probably see that in a big way, general idea or image that I'm brushing my knee. You also see that several things are occurring. Foot is wrong. Several things are occurring at the same time. One, this is occurring, and two things are occurring, three things are occurring, right? 1, 2, 3, but they're done all together. They're done all together, and I want to point out something that I really want you to see. If my hand and feet are in the right position, I turn my hips and waist, I do nothing with my hands, they're attached to me. That's magical, but it really isn't, because we know that everything is attached. If we used our hips and waist that requires us to do it, we won't have any problem with what the right hand does, the top hand does, the bottom hand does, and what our feet do. Because as long as we have a hand that's parallel, my sense of parallel, and the other hand that's higher, if I have my energy stored in my back foot and I come out on an L, something logically happens when I turn my hips and waist. Do you see that? Even for my old-time students now, okay? That's how we should learn this movement of brush knee. So the premise is in Tai Chi, if the energy is stored correctly in the back foot and you are directing your movements through your mind and through your hips and waist, the hands go for the ride. The hands set up correctly, powered in the back foot, they do not lead my motion. So when someone doesn't understand this, then they say, hey, all she said is top hand comes to your ear, then you turn and you do this. And I'm contorted. I'm not aligned correctly because my hips are still here when they should be on a bow stance. So you don't want to move your hands without the power of your hips and waist doing that motion for you. And remember, we said that when we're on a T stance, we're storing that energy. Well, there's nothing good about storing the energy if your hands are just going to do the work for you. You're going to have to move that energy from the sole of your feet to your ankle, to your leg, to your knee, your thighs, your hips and waist, chest and shoulder, and then out. That is Tai Chi, okay? So I think that if we can understand so far what I've presented, then the motion or the movement of brush knee becomes very easy. Agree? Let's try that. I'm going to face you, so you're going to be on the opposite, okay? Well, I'll try this way. So left hand, parallel. Normally we think of left hand or a parallel hand straight away this way, but this is a parallel also. So this is my sense of parallel. So the fingertips of the left hand are closer to the shoulder, above your chest, whereas the right hand is higher. Remember I said it wasn't across for repulsive little monkey, but was slightly higher. So this is that motion here, okay? So far we said the left hand is parallel, which is the opposite hand of what you see on my side, and the right hand is higher. And we're setting ourselves up, okay? So I'm gonna be like you, and we're on a T stance, and we're storing our energy on our right or back foot. We're gonna come out on a L, okay? This is the L. But as we put our heel out, we have to go with the flow of our body, which is multitasking, ear and hand, right? 3 things happen. That's the most logical thing. Can you do it 2 times with me? We're on a T stance, we're storing our energy. Out on an L, again, out on an L. Can you do it with me without just doing it so I can see. You're on a T stance, storing that energy. You're going to come out this way. I'm going to turn around and watch so I can move on, okay? On a T stance, storing your energy. What are we going to do to brush your knee? Out on an L. Okay, so yes, some people really get it or semi-get it, and other people are still wondering, which is fine, okay? So put your hands down. I'm going to face this way so that you just can see, have a better view. This is my parallel hand. This is my hand that's higher. I'm going to do this motion. But I can't do this motion unless I do this, okay? I am getting ready to shift my weight. So 3 things happen. But I don't just bring it in and put it out here. It's all together in a smooth way. So all together in a smooth way means that my hands go for the ride because I'm turning my hips and waist and distributing or transferring my energy from my back leg that stores everything, okay? And it's okay to try, but I think maybe as I demonstrate, maybe I need more attentive people so that when we do drill, you can understand the premise in which I have instructed, okay? So just to go over it really fast, you're on a T stance, you have a parallel hand, you have a hand that's higher. You want to get out here. You want to get out here to brush your knee. The force comes from this stored energy. So I should see still people listening, okay? It's going to go like this, but we do not just move our hands. We move our energy. My hands are still in the same position, but as I transfer my energy, it takes on a new form. Okay, let's try that now. And I said that I would let you drill. So if you understand of what I just presented, perhaps it may be easier, but nothing's easy if it's not done ever before, and this is the first time. And even for first-time people who've done it before, it's still not that clear, okay? So we're on a T stance, rooted down on our back, left hand parallel, closer to the, your fingers closer to your shoulder, right hand above in another plane or level. We're glancing at it, and you notice that I don't glance at it this way. I can just see it through the corner of my eye. We're going to multitask, but we're going to let our body move our hands. We're going to take an L stance. When we take an L stance, 3 things happen. Are they happening? Heel, hand, ear. Again, heel, hand, ear. The energy is stored in the back. We're going to transfer that energy and lunge forward to get into a bow stance. Our hands went for the ride. Let's prove that again. On a T stance, storing down. Left hand, parallel, right hand higher. We know we're going to do this, but we're going to do, it's not just a hand motion. We're taking an L stance, turning our hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, lower, pivot, no different from what we've been practicing. T stance, parallel higher. This time our right hand is parallel, our left hand is higher. Same thing, but a little different if you're right dominant. Out on an L, ear and hand, turn the hips and waist, hands go for the ride. Very good from what I can see. Let's do it some more. Sit back, lower, pivot, root down, parallel higher on a T, out on an L, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, lower, pivot, root down, store that energy on a T, parallel higher. Out on our heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, lower, pivot, root down, parallel higher on a T. How do we get to brush our knee? 3 things happen. We're going to use that stored energy. Out on an L, turn the hips and waist, brush knee. Sit back, lower, pivot. One more set, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, lower, hold your ball on a T step, T stance. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. Out on an L, bottom hand advances as if it were presenting a snack to the person in front of us. Sit back, lower, pivot, holding your ball on a T stance. Out on an L, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, lower, pivot, holding your ball on a T stance. Out on an L, getting into a bow stance to part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, lower, pivot, root down, store that energy on a T. Out on an L, move that ball to part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, lower, listen carefully, parallel higher on a T. We're going to multitask to brush our knee. Out on an L, move the two hands, turn the hips and waist. There you go. Sit back, lower, pivot, root down, parallel higher on a T. How do your hands out on an L go for the ride? Sit back, lower, pivot, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, lower, pivot, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, lower, pivot, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, lower, hold your ball on a T.